Hey folks, happy Thursday. Hey, here's what I know. There's a lot going on in the world around us. We've experienced a lot of change in the last few weeks, but here's what else I know. Inside every one of us, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on inside us. There's a lot going on with our feelings. And so, admittedly, as a male, I'm not really good at talking about my feelings, but we're going to do that tonight on the Daily Dose. Thanks for tuning in tonight. A couple of things before we dive in. First is this: if you would take a minute and share this post, share it and like it. Every time you do that, maybe it sounds a little trivial, but it exponentially expands the reach that we have in our community and beyond. And so if you take a minute right now before we dive in to share this post and like it. The second thing is this is the last week to sign up for a virtual Connect group. You see, here's what I know. Every one of us feels a little bit alone, a little bit isolated during this whole pandemic business. And we need a group of people in our lives who love us and love God. A virtual Connect group is a group of 6 to 10 people who just agree to gather together virtually on a regular basis to share faith and to share life together. You can go to our website, check that out, www.calvaryalec.org. All right, it's time to dive into the Daily Dose. And one of those feelings I think that rattles around in some of us during this time is the feeling of fear. And Nolan's got a great song for us. It talks about how fear, with this God of ours, fear doesn't stand a chance.
Hey friends, it's Nolan from Calvary, and today we're going to be singing a brand new song to me. Maybe it's new to you as well. It's called Stand in Your Love. I hope you'll enjoy it. When darkness tries to roll over my bones, when sorrow comes to steal the joy I own, when brokenness and pain is all I know, I won't be shaken, I won't be shaken. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I'm standing in your love. Shame no longer has a place to hide. I am not a captive to the lines. I'm not afraid to leave my past behind. I won't be shaken. No, I won't be shaken. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I'm standing in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I'm standing in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I'm standing in your love. There's power that can break up every chain. There's power that can empty out a grave. There's resurrection power that can save. There's power in your name, power in your name. 'Cause my fear doesn't stand a chance, 'cause I'm standing in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I'm standing in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I'm standing in your love. 'Cause my fear doesn't stand a chance when I'm standing in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I'm standing in your love. My fear doesn't stand a This is the air I breathe. This is the air I breathe. Your holy presence living in me. This is my daily bread. This is my daily bread. Your holy presence living in me. And I'm desperate for you. And I can't live without you. 'Cause my fear doesn't stand a chance when I'm standing in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I'm standing in your love. My fear doesn't stand a chance when I'm standing in your love. That's right. Fear doesn't stand a chance. Amen. God bless.
Hey, folks, thanks for tuning in today for this edition of the Daily Dose. The other day, a friend of mine called me, and he said these words. He said, Hans, I think World War III just broke out in our family. And he proceeded to tell me about a phone call he received from his mother. His mother, a few weeks back, had called him and said, son, I think we're going to drive to Alexandria because we want to visit you, your wife, and our granddaughter. And my son, of course, said to her, you know, Mom, I just don't think that's a really good idea. And his mom then said to him, son, why don't you want us to come and visit you? And that's when her son, my friend, said to her, you know, given the current circumstances with this whole COVID thing, I just don't think it's a really good idea for you and Dad to drive to Alexandria. And that's when his mom looked at him and said, well, son, all of our friends are getting together with their kids and their grandkids. And that's when my friend said to his mother, Mom, I am not your friend's kids. And by the way, I work in public. I'm in contact with all kinds of people, and I would hate to be the one to give you COVID. And that's when his mom said to him these very words, son, why don't you love us? And that's when my friend said back, Mom, I love you. I just don't want you to get sick and die. And do you know what his mom did? She hung up on him and hasn't talked to him for 2 weeks. Folks, here's what I know. We all have a whole ton of feelings going on inside us these days. And I'm going to admit something. I am a male, and I'm not very good with feelings. Any other men like me? Raise your hand in the comments section. And here's what else I know. I don't want tonight to turn into some online therapy session, but what I do know is amid this crisis, amid our sheltering in place, we have a whole lot of feelings going on inside us. At home, we love our kids, but let's be honest, sometimes we want to strangle them because we've had a lot of them. And we love our spouses, but again, we've had a lot of our spouses. Or maybe you're home alone. You've been isolated this whole time and you are sick and tired of yourself. You just need to be around people. Maybe you're an introvert and you're terrified that this whole thing is going to end, or you're an extrovert and these walls feel like they're closing in. Our politics has led to a whole lot of feelings. There are some of you out there who absolutely, at this time in our nation's history, you love our president and you hate our governor. There are others of you that love our governor and hate our president. And still more feelings come when we talk about work. Some of you have been working through this whole thing, and you have been scared to death the whole time. In fact, you've been brought to tears at work some days. There are others of you that wish, you pray to God that you can get back to work one of these days. And still others of you who own businesses, you're not sure exactly how you can do your work and keep your customers and clients safe. You see, there's a whole lot of feelings going on inside of us these days. So my question to you tonight is this: what do we do with our feelings? What do we do with all those feelings that are welling up inside us? I want to suggest that as good, healthy Midwesterners, you do probably the same thing I do, and my parents did, and my grandparents did. We stuff them down inside. We just stuff them down inside, and before long, they come out how? They come out sideways. When we yell at our kids, or we yell at our spouse, or we get on social media and we post that rant about this or about that. It comes out when we get on a phone call with our son or daughter and find ourselves asking them, "Why don't you love me?" And we hang up on them. Folks, what do we do with all these feelings? Well, I want to suggest two things today. The first is this: we have a God who knows what's going on inside you. We have a God who knows exactly what you are feeling. He knew it yesterday. He knows it today. He'll know it tomorrow. In Psalm chapter 139, we hear how we have a God for whom this God knows when we wake up and when we go to bed. We have a God in Matthew 10 who says that every one of our hairs, the hairs on our head, are counted. And in Matthew chapter 6, this very same God says that this God knows what you need before you even know yourself. You see, we have a God who knows what's going on inside us. And so the second thing I want to suggest to you today when we ask, what do we do with all these feelings? I want to suggest to you that you own those feelings. That you and I, we get better at naming those feelings to the people around us. Our kids are actually much better at this than we are. I don't know if you know this, but in our schools here in Alexandria, they teach our kids to own their feelings. Some of the kids learn that some days they get to school and they're in the blue zone. They're a little bit down. They're a little bit grumpy. They know what it means to be in the green zone, to be ready to learn, to be ready for the day. They know what it means to be in the yellow zone, which means that they're feeling a little hot inside. They know what it means to be in the red zone, that they're a little bit out of control. What would it be like for us as adults to own our feelings? Because here's what I know about when we own our feelings, they can't own us. You see, own your feelings so they don't own you. Name them. Name what you're feeling to the people around you. You see, when you don't name those feelings, here's what happens, is you're just pretending. And don't you owe it to the people you love to name, to own your feelings for them? Because when we don't own our feelings, I know what happens to me. I become a version of me that I do not want to be. Folks, own your feelings so they don't own you. Folks, we're going to get through this. We're going to get through this with God, and we're going to get through this with each other. Good night.